Good morning, class. I just wanted to review these a little bit more in detail, specifically gerunds, because that seems to be where, interestingly enough, a lot of you really struggled. So let's jump into it. Gerunds are when ing verbs take the place of a noun, either as a subject or an object. What's important here is that gerunds are ing verbs. If it's not a verb that ends in ing, it is not a gerund. That is a huge thing I saw when a lot of you were trying to show me your verbals in your song. Some of you put things like thoughts is a gerund because it is a subject or object. To think is a verb. Thinking is the gerund version of that verb, meaning thoughts is not. Just because something is the subject or object doesn't make it a gerund. If it has ing and is a verb and is the subject or object of a sentence, then yes, it is a gerund. For example, running feels good. Running in this sentence is the subject. It is the thing that feels, and it feels good. I like running. Running is the object. It is the object of like. It is I is the subject, like is the verb, running is the object. It has an ing, making it a gerund. If it says, I like cans, then no, cans is not a gerund. It is just a noun. So, if you can replace it with another noun and it is an ing verb, then it is a gerund. However, if you cannot replace it with another noun, or it is not an ing verb, it is not a gerund. It might be a participle instead. Participles are when verbs function as adjectives, which are describing verbs. Participles are either past tense or in the present tense with an ing, like a gerund. However, instead of functioning as a noun, it functions as a describing word, as an adjective. That's how you can tell the difference between a gerund and a participle. Is it describing something? Is it the subject or object of something? If it is the subject or object, it is the gerund. If it is describing, it is a participle. For example, Doomguy's beating heart describes Doomguy's heart. If instead you say, I am waiting, that makes that a participle, because you can't say I am squirrel and it makes sense. Okay, I am waiting describes it. You could change it with I am green and it makes sense. I am a sad potato, sad makes it an adjective. That could be a participle. That's different. But waiting would be a participle because you are describing I. That is a huge thing right here. Okay? Doomguy's beaten face. Most of you got the past part down just fine. That's not the thing I was concerned about. What I was concerned about were the ing verbs. They are either going to function as an adjective and be a participle, or they are going to function as a noun and be a gerund. You can tell by asking yourself, is this verb a subject or an object? Or is it describing something? That's how you tell the difference, because that seemed to be something a lot of you guys ran into here, was the difference between a gerund and a participle. Some of you struggled with infinitives. Infinitives are verbs with the to in front. If it does not have the to, it is not an infinitive. It has to have that to in front of it and be unconjugated to function as an infinitive. For example, in all three of these sentences, the infinitive is to break, and it's going to function as a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. I want to break free. To break is a noun because it is the object of want. Right? I want to break. That's fine. That works. I want squirrels. That works. I want an apple. That works. I want to break. That makes it a noun. His desire is to break free. It is an adjective here because it describes his desire, right? Whenever you see a to be verb, such as is, am, were, was, The next thing that happens is probably going to be an adjective. Okay? I kick to break free. Why is he kicking? To break free. That makes to break an adverb because it describes how or why he kicks. Okay, so I kick to break free. His desire is to break free. I want to break free. Okay, all of those change their function based on the context around them. So, but again, most of you got this one just fine. Some of you decided that to wasn't necessary to be an infinitive, and it absolutely is. You cannot have an infinitive without the to in front of it. Participles are either past tense verbs or ing verbs that function as adjectives. Okay? Again, I'll say it one more time. I don't know what I just did there. But this, okay, if they describe a thing, that makes them a participle. Oh, excuse me. And we're going to change that to what it should be. This was something a lot of you really struggled with. If it doesn't function as a noun, it is not a gerund. If it describes something, it is a participle. If you see a to be verb, am, is, was, were, then what happens next is probably an adjective because it is describing what they are. So for that verbals and lyrics assignment, this is how I wanted everything to look like. Right? We have the song title, we have the artist, we have a short group of lyrics, not the entire song, not just one line, but the group. Okay? And then what am I looking at? Infinitive adverb, to fly. Because it describes learn. And that's all I wanted. And that would have been 5 points, all of this, and then I would have needed to do 2 more. I would have needed to do a gerund and a participle. That's what I wanted. That's all I wanted there. So for those of you who haven't done it or would like to go back and redo it, now's a great time for that. Though I think most of you did pretty good on that. And some of you I'm very, very proud of. Others, clearly I should have been much more explicit in describing that a gerund is an ing verb that functions as a noun and is either the subject or object in a sentence, and that other ing verbs that aren't functioning as verbs and aren't gerunds are present participles, meaning they describe something. So those were the ones that really tricked a lot of people, were gerunds, which surprised me a lot, and participles, which actually did, like, I was surprised most of you got this one pretty good, and that makes me really, really happy and pretty proud of you guys. But this one, I thought this one was the easy one, because you just have to ask yourself, is it acting or is it being acted upon? And that would have solved the problem, but it seemed like that was the one that caused a lot of problems. Anyway, I hope you guys are all safe and healthy. Don't let this trip you up. You guys know all of this. It's just you know it subconsciously. It's not something that you're aware of that you know. But it's really actually really easy, because you just have to ask yourself, is it functioning as an adjective? Is it describing something? Is it the subject or object? Or is it an infinitive? And really, for infinitives, look for the to break or to verb. Okay, it has to be to verb. It can't be to noun, because that just means the noun is being a noun. Okay, infinitives are verbs with the to in front of it, and they can function as nouns, adjectives, or adverbs. But again, hope you're all safe and healthy. Have a wonderful weekend. Take it easy.